The transportation industry, which had been stagnant for many years, was changed forever in 2009 when Travis Kalanick had an idea. In a world that places increasing value on convenience, he created Uber, a ride-sharing service where users could hail a driver by using only their smartphone. A person requesting a ride just needs to press a button on the app, and their request is sent to the nearest registered driver. Credit card information is stored on the Uber app, and fees are automatically charged to the passenger and the appropriate amount deposited to the driver. Thus, everything is controlled by the app and is largely hassle-free, especially compared to the trouble associated with finding and hailing a taxi. As a result, Uber's added convenience has made it a huge competitor to the modern taxi industry.
The pros of Uber are abundant, the main one being convenience, as the ability to use a smartphone to find a ride rather than going through the trouble of hailing a cab. The service also provides great convenience for the drivers, as Gary Lynn notes when he discusses why he enjoys driving with Uber.
I wouldn't say I wanted to be an Uber driver. I would say that when I closed my restaurant over the years, I've been doing different things, and when I first saw Uber, I was kind of skeptical. And basically, I just needed a part-time job, and I have a lot of things going on in my life, and the flexibility is, I guess, the biggest thing that drove me to try it. So it's been great. I've been doing it for a year and a half now, and the flexibility is good, the money is good, I get to meet all kinds of people. Everything I like about a job, this covers it.
This makes Uber especially useful for people that do not live in the area, because an Uber driver can pick you up from any location. Additionally, Uber is generally perceived as being more affordable than taxis, with rates that are competitive with other ride-sharing apps. Uber charges on a basis that combines both time and distance, with distance being the dominant factor in the end price. Taxis, however, tend to charge more heavily on time. Although Uber's prices were initially 1.5 times more expensive than taxis, it has since become cheaper and thus massively popular. Uber also allows customers more choices by allowing them to choose a class of vehicle and subsequent payment scale, such as Uber XL, Uber Luxury, or Uber Pool, that split costs with a stranger. Moreover, Uber also allows one to choose any pickup location and time, as well as have the ability to rate their driver's performance. Thus, any substandard drivers will be removed from the service.
However, Uber also has some controversial aspects. Uber is largely cited as having the potential to be unsafe. In order to ensure a large quantity of potential drivers, Uber makes the qualifications for their drivers to be relatively simple. Anyone can become an Uber driver. All they need to do is pass a background check and have a driver's license, as well as meeting some certifications for the car. Most of the specifications focus on the vehicle, not necessarily the person driving it. And while the vast majority of Uber drivers are safe, this is not always the case. We interviewed students about if they consider the dangers of Uber and how they check to verify its legitimacy.
Etc. Yes, that's always a possibility, but I think that there's a rating system. People rate their drivers, so that offers some peace of mind.
Yeah, because Uber basically hires people over the internet without much in the way of physical interviews, with only a cursory background check. There's a lot of room for people to slip through the cracks that might not make it through a standard interview process. Being known to the corporate structure is a danger for passengers.
The sticker. I check for the plate, the car make, the color, just to make sure.
However, not everyone is as cautious or fortunate as these students. There are approximately 2,300 illegal Uber rides per week due to the easy accessibility of purchasing an Uber sticker through eBay. This leads many people to get into the wrong car or be preyed upon by people with their own service, trying to make money. Also, many activists are claiming that the company does not do enough to protect female passengers. While Uber may be praised for its simplicity and ingenuity, the company still needs to solve its many flaws.
Another controversy lies with the regulation of Uber, or more specifically, the lack of regulation. The state college taxi services, for example, referred to them as that illegal taxi company upon prompting, and many continue to argue that Uber should be subject to the same regulations as traditional taxi services. While the taxi industry has heavy regulation, like the medallion system in New York City, Uber is almost entirely unregulated. According to the economics professor Nima Hagpana, however, this lack of regulation provides for a more competitive market, thus improving the economic situation overall for the consumer. From a legal point of view, however, Uber has faced a slew of challenges, lobbying, and public mud throwing in dozens of cities it has moved into. Some cities have even taken action to ban Uber, as well as other ride-sharing companies from their area. For instance, in Austin, Texas, voters wanted Uber to have stricter regulations, specifically a fingerprint-based background check and rules on where drivers can pick up and drop off passengers. Uber did not oblige and was banned from the city shortly after. However, this does not stop the use of ride-sharing, as a black market for ride-sharing fills the void. Although Uber and other ride-sharing companies prove to be convenient, the lack of regulations does demonstrate a complication not only for the companies, but for the customers as well.
To combat the above issues, governments need to adjust their regulations to make the competition between taxi companies and Uber more fair. For example, by requiring them to provide better driver's insurance and health benefits to their drivers. Ride-sharing companies perform more efficiently in large cities. In a large city, the surge pricing algorithm very effectively controls the supply and demand, and guarantees that supply is provided smoothly over time and location. As a result, a rider always knows that a car exists whenever and wherever they want, and they don't need to schedule a ride in advance. On the other hand, in a small town with a few number of drivers, Uber should have less control over supply. Despite the controversy surrounding Uber, the company is still growing, and it is growing at an alarming pace. As the company continues to grow, the Uber problem grows with it, fueling further controversy.